So we are the FSU Belly Dancers. Our mission here at Florida State, we strive to educate our members in our community of the Middle Eastern culture throughout with the art of belly dance. We encourage people of all backgrounds and identities to join. However, membership is exclusive to students enrolled at FSU. Our lessons are open to everyone in the Tallahassee community, and right now we are having lessons every Monday night at 6 p.m. They're only an hour long, they're a lot of fun, and Jenny's gonna say a quick thing about our lessons. Jenny.
Hello. So we have lessons every week on Instagram and Facebook Live. You just, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. But yeah, every week on Facebook and Instagram Live, you just join and you stay there for an hour and it's great. After this, we are going to do like a little 30-minute lesson on here if you want to stay for that. It's going to be super fun, super like just a good time. So yeah.
Thank you, Jenny. This is a little bit about the history of belly dance. So belly dance is also called Raqs Sharqi. This is the exact Arabic translation, meaning Oriental dancing. It dates back to around 6,000 years, so it's very, very old. But the really cool thing about it is that it brings movements from all different parts of the world. So if you look at specific movements, you'll see hints of even like Indian dance and belly dance. This is just like one example. So like head slide, that's a huge like thing in Indian belly dancing, but it's also very prominent in belly dancing. So yeah, this dance developed from various populations, like traveling all the way from India to the Middle East and so forth. And it's like just a very big compilation of dances put into one. It's a very beautiful thing. There are so many styles. So there's Oriental, Baladi, Shabi, Saidi, Iraqi, and Tribal. I'm not the best at pronouncing them, but I do know a little about them. Oriental is basically what people tend to think of, very centered around the culture and style. They wear a lot of like performance dresses and like these very elaborate like beady bra and belt sets that you'll see us wear sometimes in performances. Oriental dancers tend to perform to Eastern music with a focus on Middle Eastern dance. Baladi means my country in Arabic, and so it's very also culture centered, and it's usually danced like in a social gathering during celebrations or things like that. Shabi is a style with ancient roots of like Egypt. So the meaning behind Shabi is meaning of the people. So the music tends to be very personal, relating to like love and family and sometimes even politics. Saidi is very lively, energetic. Saidi performances are really fun and very down to earth. And it's usually actually danced with sticks. So that's a really cool prop that a lot of Saidi dancers use. Iraqi has a style with distinct movement patterns, and it's actually very crazy to see because they move around their heads a lot and they use a lot of like hair movements. So that's a really fun style. And then tribal is a lot more modern. It actually originated around the 70s, but now it's considered to be this very like sharp, particular style of belly dance, and it's a lot of fun. These are just some places you can find us. We have a Facebook and Instagram. And Annie's gonna walk us through a little fundraiser we're having pretty soon. Annie.
Yeah, in addition to seeing us on Instagram and Facebook at our lessons on Monday, which are very fun, you can see us on February 17th. We'll be at Bento. And because of the pandemic, the fundraiser is all day. So you could come anytime. We'll be going like sporadically. So you could see, we'll probably be wearing our FSU shirts. So if you see one of us, you could come up and talk to us. We really love interacting with you guys. Last fundraiser, when it was just the 2 hours, we had dinner and we invited everyone who was here for us. And we all had like a nice talk and like dinner. We ate dinner together. So, if you want to come and support us, we'd really appreciate it. If you see us, please come up and talk to us. We'd love to talk to you. And if anything, just go for the food because it's delicious. I love it.
Thank you, Annie. And now sort of transferring over to Chef Jesse. He's going to be making Sahlab. It's a very delicious dish, and he'll sort of describe a little more about it. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming. Stop sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's very nice presentation, and I really like everyone's been enjoying so far. And also, let's spotlight our star here. Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Young. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Globe Kitchen. Right off the bat, I want to thank the Belly Dancers. That was some great tunes to get us started. It really got me energized and into moods to do this dish today. We've got a dish. It's a drink, actually. It's called Sahlab. And it is a traditional kind of winter drink that's enjoyed throughout the Middle East. It's called Salep in Turkey, and it's very popular in Turkey. I've got this kind of instant box that I have here, Salep flavor. And this one came from Lebanon. But I've got a recipe so you can make it fresh. I made a batch earlier today. It's a really simple recipe, but it's really, really delicious and really nice on a cold day. And so I really encourage you to give it a shot. So a little history about this dish. This is a really ancient dish, actually. Salep is the name of an orchid that grows in like the Eastern Mediterranean through Middle East. And the Romans even used this orchid, the roots from the orchid, like the bulbs. So they dig it up and use these bulbs, they dry them out and grind them into a flour. And they use that to thicken up different types of fluids, water, milk now. And so, the Romans really enjoyed it. The Ottoman Empire was spread throughout that whole empire. And nowadays, unfortunately, the orchid that is used to make this drink traditional is endangered. So it's been over enjoyed. And so at this point, it's still being harvested, but it's illegal to even export it from Turkey. A lot of it's harvested in Iran and Greece now. And so you can get some of this online, but it is hard to verify the purity, and you buy a tiny little bottle for like $60. And so this is kind of like a modern version that we're gonna have a recipe for today. And this, what you can buy today in the States here is not true Salep. And so this is kind of a modern version. I just want to have a disclaimer here. If there's anybody listening from Turkey or the Middle East, I'm not trying to be offensive. This is not true Salep, but it is, a variation. The best we can do at this point. If you do have a chance to go to Turkey, I'd recommend trying to find some. And from what I understand, there's really, it's hard to find it there even, but they serve it in like little street carts. And so it's something that you would get as like a convenience little snack when you're out on the street. And then also this Salep, the orchid flower from the tuber, not the flower itself, but the tuber from underground, is also a very important component in Turkish ice cream. And Turkish ice cream is particularly stretchy and has a very, very interesting texture. And it's because that the starch is cooked into the cream before they freeze it. And that is, the Turkish ice cream is a really kind of famous ice cream there. So if you ever get a chance, I recommend you try it, but this is equally as good, slightly different. Let's go through our ingredients. First, you're just gonna wanna get milk. I've got some whole milk. I gotta have lactose-free milk, so this is what I got. You can use nut milks, milk alternatives. Any kind of fatty liquid is good. For the starch that we're going to replace the Salep with, I have tapioca starch. In our box here, they used corn flour, so cornstarch, and also guar gum. So I'm not going to use any guar gum, but I like tapioca starch. It has an interesting texture to it. It's a little bit different than cornstarch, and at least it's a root to me. It's like, it's at least it's a root, so a little bit closer. We're going to need a little bit of sugar. And then from there, we've got some flavorings. And now these flavorings, not all of them are essential. I've got this mastic gum, and this was an ingredient in the Lebanese box that I have here. And so this recipes that I looked up, this is an essential one. but I think maybe this is particular to Lebanese style is the mastic gum. And this is like a resin that comes out of like a tree, like a pine tree. And then it's kind of has a piney kind of smell to it, and it gets all balled up here. And we're going to infuse that into the milk. One essential ingredient is definitely rose water, and rose water and milk together, and with a little bit of sugar is just so delicious. And that's really kind of cross-cultural too. That goes into Indian food. We've made for coffee our faluda, which is like a rose milk ice cream dessert, which is really delicious. Laura's shaking her head. She hates faluda. I love it though. And then we also have some orange blossom water, and this is not essential either, but if you can add it as well with the rose water. The Lebanese box over here had both and the mastic, so I had these, so I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then we're gonna have a topping for it too. We're gonna top it with some ground cinnamon, and then also a little chopped pistachio. The topping, cinnamon is pretty essential. The pistachio is up to you. I also saw that people put coconut on the top of it. And so the toppings are kind of optional other than the cinnamon. All right, so I've got some of the milk heated up here. And what you're gonna wanna do is heat up the milk by itself, slowly. If you're just gonna make 1 cup of this, you can heat this up in the microwave and do it in the microwave in the mug that you're going to heat it up in and drink it out of. All right, so this is somewhat scalded. As it heated up, I whisked it, and so it got a little bit foamy, and then I'm gonna whisk it some more once we add our starch. And so our starch, we have 1 tablespoon of starch per cup of milk, and so this is 4 tablespoons of starch. I got 4 cups of milk here. And that goes for any of the starches that you would use. The cornstarch, the tapioca starch, maybe you might want to try potato starch, but those are all equally kind of thickened at the same rate. If you somehow get your hands on Salep, that has a much more potent thickening power to it. And you only need about 1/4 of the Salep starch to do the trick. Okay, so I am adding just enough water to this starch so that it loosens up a little bit. And I'm using my finger here, but you can also use a spoon. So we just want that to liquefy so it will disperse into the hot milk evenly. We're just gonna pour it in, whisk, and then it needs to go back onto the heat. So we're gonna bring it onto the heat. You always wanna heat milk at a medium to medium low temperature. You don't wanna have it on high. And then from here on out, you definitely wanna whisk it until it comes to like a simmer or very, very slow boil, just to the edge of a boil. As it heats up, these bubbles in here will expand and it'll fill up the whole pot. And so if you're using a mug in a microwave, you definitely want it to only come halfway full of milk so it can expand out quite a bit. This isn't gonna be thick like a pudding. You want this to be drinkable, but you want the starch to kind of give some structure to the bubbles so it's somewhat foamy and slightly thick. Now let's turn it up a little bit more. This burner's a little weird. Anybody have any questions out there?
Yeah, we
No
have
question?
a bunch of questions about like if they cannot get the original material, what are the alternatives? And Amanda was trying to reply everyone about this kind of questions. But Amanda, feel free to weigh in.
Yeah, so the Salep, if you can't find the Salep, the alternative for me I'm using is the tapioca flour, but you can also use cornstarch. So any kind of pure starch works well. Although you don't want to use wheat flour though. That is not pure enough.
And like Jenny did say in the chat that at least there are alternatives to still make this dessert. So even if it's not the exact recipe, there's still other ways to try it.
Yeah, you don't have to use cow's milk. You could do this with almond milk. I mean, if you even wanted to, you could probably use some type of, what is that sugar substitute, monk fruit? The monk fruit sugar, that stuff's pretty good actually. You could use that. Has anybody tried that out there? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? No? You got it at like the coffee shops and stuff where it melts into a hot liquid really nice, and it tastes just like sugar, but it doesn't have any calories. All right, so you see it's kind of expanding as it's heating up, just giving it a good solid whisk here. And turn it up a little bit more. And you can kind of feel it thickening with your whisk too. You want to get the edges good because those edges will burn fast. As the milk heats up, it thickens, and so the reason why you want to whisk it constantly is because it will create the heat will create like a coating on the pan from the thickened milk, and that coating will burn very quickly. But if you're stirring it quickly, that coating won't form. Water kind of starting to thicken up for sure, and definitely getting some volume. All right. All right.
If anyone's in Tallahassee right now, it's been very like dark and cold and rainy. So this is actually a perfect drink to make or dessert to make because it's been very cold and this would warm you right up.
Yeah, it's so satisfying. We had some earlier today, and it's not too sweet and it's not too thick. It's just really, really delicious. All right, so that has come to a quick boil there. And I'm just gonna let it sit for a second, and we'll bring it over to our station.
I feel like I blinked and then it doubled in size already. Like you said it was gonna happen, and then like I didn't believe it, and then it happened.
Yeah, it happens quickly. I think it's probably at a certain temperature is where it just kind of starts, those bubbles expand and the starch is holding them together. Just kind of like heavy cream will do that too. All right, so the mastic, we have a 1/4 teaspoon, and I'm gonna kind of do a heaping one. And the way to incorporate the mastic is you put it into a mortar and pestle, and then you're gonna add a little sugar to coat it, and then you grind it into this sugar, and then it'll just instantly melt into a hot liquid. Mastic, it goes into a lot of different Middle Eastern desserts, particularly with cream. I can't remember the name. There was I don't know if it was a French toast. There was some kind of bread that was fried and then soaked in cream with mastic and some other flavors in it. Made that for coffee hour 1 year. It was delicious. Okay. So you see this all ground up well. We're going to add our flavors now. So we'll start with that. The mastic and the sugar. Let's add a 1/4 cup of sugar. There's only a 1/4 cup, so this is not super sweet, it's slightly sweet.
Hey, Jesse.
Yeah.
Somebody was asking, in terms of the spoon test, what thickness is it at right now?
Okay, so spoon test is a little interesting because you can do that for like egg yolk thickened sauces and that sort of thing. And this is a little bit different since it's just starch, and it's so foamy. And so it's pretty runny, but it's pretty much holding the line. And so if you were to cool this down and use this as like a sauce, you could add vanilla or something to it, it would work. And it would hold up on a plate. All right, awesome. So that.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, so sugar's in, mastic's in. We're gonna do a tablespoon of rose water. Oop, a little extra never hurts. Gonna whisk that in. I think I'm gonna do a little touch of the orange flower water too, just for fun. Probably not a full tablespoon. And the rose isn't overpowering in this, it's just the mastic and the rose just combined together, and it doesn't taste like milk at all. It just tastes like this just kind of heavenly aromatic, floral and woodsy. It's really, really delicious. All right.
Jesse, I do have a question about using your finger or using your spoon. What's the difference?
If I'm using my finger to dissolve that starch into a liquid, I can rub my finger around the edges and just make sure that I don't have any like dried lumps stuck to the bottom of the bowl. And so it's just a way to get it fully incorporated, and by touch you just know that you have it fully incorporated. There's no little lumps in there, because if you pour that in with lumps, those lumps typically won't dissolve into your liquid. It'll just end up being lumpy.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I've got 4 cups here. This serves 4. And this is a giant ladle. Let's see if I can pull this off. You can see how it's foamy and thickening up. As it cools, it will thicken even more. This is, just came off a boil, so it is really hot. You're probably not going to really want to drink this for 5 or so minutes, or even serve it, because in these cups, it's going to be pretty hot. So maybe if you want to make something like this and serve it right away, you would, make it in mugs with handles. But it's still going to be a little while till people can even drink it. All right. 4 nice servings. And you can see, even though I was whisking away there, we still have some edges that started to stick and burn, and that happens really fast. So you got to keep your temperature medium to medium low, and then really, make sure you're whisking that once you put your starch in. All right. If it burns too much there, and especially if you stir the burned parts into the milk, it's ruined. It'll just taste like, acrid, and it'll have, instead of a rose, aroma, it would have just a nasty burned aroma. So, all right, so cinnamon, we've got this, and cinnamon is pretty strong, and so I first went pretty light on my test batch, but I really thought I could put a good amount of cinnamon on here. So I'm going to put a good coating of cinnamon. It all just goes so well together. And then I'm going to put some pistachios on top too. And so this should be thick enough that you can hold your garnish toppings without them falling to the bottom, but definitely you should not have to use a spoon or anything like that. This should easily be drinkable. All right, there we go. All right, so this is our Salep or Sahlab modern version, using tapioca starch instead of the Salep starch. Go through your pantry. You don't need to use tapioca starch. You could probably make this, in the next day if you just get some rose water, if you don't have that kind of thing. Very easy to make, really delicious, and perfect time of year to try it. So thanks, Belly Dancers, for coming out and co-hosting with us. Love the music. Somebody's gonna have to pass me that playlist. That was good stuff. Laura watched me dance in the kitchen here before you guys came on. She was laughing.
That sounds great, Jesse. I will definitely spotlight you.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know about now. Yeah, not on camera.
Okay. Thank you so much, as usual. Great job.
Thank you so much.
All right, everyone, our session is still going on. So Jenny and Annie are gonna show us the demonstrations for a little bit dance. So, well, today's Friday. It's been a week, you're sitting in front of the PC, so get yourself move a little bit. Jenny and Annie, you're up.
I was actually going to be me who's doing, it's actually me who's doing the demonstration. But yes, feel free to watch Jenny and Annie And if you have any questions, they'll make sure to answer them for you. So yeah, just need 1 second to set up. So y'all don't have to turn your cameras on, but if you do want to stand up and try this out, it'll be a lot of fun. I'll break down all the moves, and then we're just gonna put them together real quick for a small combo. And can everyone hear me okay? Even if I'm standing like sort of far away?
I didn't hear music yet.
Yeah, I haven't. I should probably play some music. Let me know if y'all can hear the music. That might be kind of hard. Can you all hear that?
Very nice.
Yes?
Thank you.
Okay. And even if I'm standing from back here, can everyone hear me? Yes? Okay, cool.
Yes.
Thank you, Jenny. So we're just gonna warm up a little bit. So we're gonna start with our head and our neck. Sorry. So you're just gonna bring your head to your right shoulder, your left. Bring your head down and around to the right. Just gonna stretch that neck. The left. Now we're gonna rub our shoulders a little. So just bring your shoulders back. Elbows back. Arms back. Bring your shoulders forward. Thank you for those of you joining us. So much fun. And you're gonna bring your right arm across. Get a good stretch. Bring that arm back. Bring your left arm across. And back. You can breathe in. Bring your arms up. And reach down to your toes. Stretch your legs. And open up your legs a little bit and reach down to your right foot. And go towards the center. And then reach all the way to your left foot. We come back up. Good. Do we all feel warmed up a little bit? Feel good?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, cool. So we're just gonna start with some chest moves. So yeah, I apologize. It's kind of difficult with small spaces, but I'm sure you can do it. Yeah, and if anyone has any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the chat box, and I'll try to look out and answer them as quickly as I can. So we're gonna start with our chest. We're gonna go over chest lifts and drops. With this movement, you're completely isolating your chest from every other part of your body. So you can start with your basic belly dance posture, and I'll explain that real quickly. You want to have your feet like around 2 fists apart. Knees are slightly bent. Your butt is tucked in. You have your chest lifted up high, And your arms are like if you had a beach ball around your hands, and then you just opened up. You should be able to see the edges, like your fingertips, but nothing else. And your fingers are always very dainty, like if you're holding a pencil between your middle finger and your thumb, but slightly open, so like this. So once you're in that posture, I'm gonna go over real quick left foot showgirl and right foot showgirl, which is pretty much the stance that you're always in. So left foot showgirl, your left leg is sort of perched up, and then right foot showgirl, it's your right foot that's perched up. And basically when you're doing moves like that revolve your chest or your head, you're gonna kind of be in this basic belly dance posture. So real quick, chest lifts. You pretty much are just picking up your chest, kind of like you're breathing in, make sure to like squeeze a little bit. You're not doing like a chest pop. It's more just your chest is picking up and you're dropping it back down. Picking up, dropping it back down. Pick up, drop it back down. Good job. To those of you, oh my gosh, so exciting. You guys are doing great already. Okay, and then the next move you're gonna do with your chest, you're gonna bring it left to right. So again, you're isolating your chest, bringing it left to right, left, right, left, right. And now that you know those two, you're basically gonna put them together to sort of create this box with your chest. So you're gonna go left, pick up your chest, up, to the right, and down. Left, pick up, to the right, and down. And now that you have those two things down, you're basically just kind of gonna put them together. So you're gonna smooth out that box. So you're going left, up, right, down, left, up, right, down. And when you smooth it out, you have your chest circles. That is now 3 moves. So we're gonna try it the other way. So start by going to the right. So right, pick up your chest up, to the left, and down. Right, up, left, down. And now smooth it out. And you're doing chest circles to your left. Good job, everyone. Does anyone have any questions about that at all? Are we doing good? Big thumbs up. Yeah, cool. So the next thing we're gonna go over is really fun. It's chest shimmies. So, well, shoulder shimmies, my bad. Which you're basically just gonna be moving. What are the moves called? So you have, these are, I guess you can call them chest lifts and drops, and side to side, sort of. I guess those are like 2 or 3 moves there, sort of. But when you put them together, those are chest circles. I hope that answered your question. I can write it in the chat at the end if you'd like, if that's okay. Or Jenny, actually, yeah, no problem. Jenny, if you could write it in the, yeah, okay, cool. Thank you. So the next move we're gonna do, it's called shoulder shimmies. So you're basically just moving, like you're bringing one shoulder to the front and one goes back, and then you're switching like this. Good job. And make sure to keep this part of your body, again, isolated from the rest. And then when you just go a little faster, you have your shoulder shimmies. Good job, everyone. Yeah, you guys are like already basically Shakira. I can see it in all of you. And then the last chest move we're gonna do are undulations. So undulations, pretty much you're starting with your chest again, where you're sort of like puffing your chest out, picking it up, and then just rolling through your body and sort of like pushing your butt out. You never really want to do that move or like have your butt sticking out, because it can sort of lead to back pain. So it's actually a thing for belly dancers to have a lot of back pain like years after belly dancing because of poor posture. So with this move, be conscious that like you're doing it, but it's solely for this like move. Most of the other times you have your butt tucked in. Okay, so undulations, you're gonna start by puffing your chest out, picking it up, and rolling through, sticking your butt out. And so you start again from the top, your chest up, rolling it through, down. And then start again from your chest puffed out, up, rolling it through. And when you're doing this, this is literally the only part of your body that's moving. I hope you all can still hear me, but this is what the move looks like. If that makes sense. How are y'all feeling? That's kind of a tricky one. It takes some practice, but we'd love to see you, Sadie. That'd be awesome. Are these gentlemen for all those styles? Yeah, so you can see a lot of these moves in different styles. But like I said, some styles, like they focus a lot more on like head movements. Yeah, these are pretty general to most of the styles. Yeah, thank you, Jenny, for answering that. But yeah, that's basically for our chest movements. And then I'm gonna go over some hip movements, which are fun. We're gonna start with piston hips. So piston hips, let me move my camera down just a little bit. Basically, when you pick up one hip, your other hip automatically drops. So I'm picking up my right hip and my left is dropping. And when I switch, that automatically shifts. So remember, when you're doing this, your hips are isolated from every other part. So picking up your right hip, your left one drops. Pick up your left one, the right one drops. Just like that. And for this, make sure the more your knees are bent, the more like your moves are gonna show. You're on your toes. I'm not on my toes, so my feet are planted completely. And with this move, you're kind of gonna see, like, for example, my right hip is going up. So my right knee is sort of like more tucked in, I guess you can say. My left knee bends a little more, but my feet are always planted on the ground. I don't know if that answered the question. Isolating everything is, yes, it's very hard. It takes practice, but practicing these individual moves and then kind of putting it together, it makes it easier. Did anyone have any other questions? Yeah, I'm not on my toes, just, yes, go ahead, Amy.
I was just gonna say, like, isolating is a big part of the dance. So like when we're doing the hip things, if there was a table here, you should, like, no one should know you were doing like the hip things. So if there's a table, like my upper body's not moving. And what helps with that is if you cross your arms and then you do it, it helps keep your top of your body still.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind when you're trying to isolate.
That's a great point. Thank you, Annie.
Also, the more you bend your knees, the more motion that you're gonna have in your hips. Like the more you bend them, the more motion you're gonna have with still keeping your upper body still. I hope that helps.
That's very helpful, yeah. Thanks, Jenny. And then with that, we're gonna practice our hips going in and out. So basically with the posture, your butt is always in. But with this particular move, you're kind of sticking your butt out, bringing it back in, out, in. And this going with the piston hips. Basically, let's say you're gonna pick up your right hip, bring it forward, pick up your left hip, bring it out. You're also creating like this box with your hips that when you smooth out, it creates an omi. So this particular move is called an omi. If I'm moving too fast, you can tell me. Yes, I'm sorry, Sadie. But yeah, basically those two moves are kind of coming together to create your omi. So your hips are going, your right hip is gonna go up, your left hip is dropping. You're gonna bring it forward to the left and then tuck out. Right, forward, left, out. And when you smooth it out, you have an omi. And the same thing goes for the other side. So you start by picking up your left hip, bringing it forward. Right hip goes up. tuck it out. And that kind of gives you that omi going to the left. That's right, yeah. Does that make sense? Good, awesome, okay. And the last thing we're gonna cover real quick, the last move we're gonna cover, sorry, a lot of moves, are Mayas. So Mayas, you're basically doing that same pickup of the hip movement, but you're pushing your hip out. And when that hip comes back, you're picking up your left to bring it out. And you're kind of creating this like 8 movement with your hips. And the opposite of that are sways. So if you have Mayas down, sways are pretty much you're picking up your hip. And you're creating an 8 that opposite way. Does that make sense? Are your feet flat here? So my feet do sort of pick up. When you do this movement, you're sort of going on your toes on the foot that you're picking up, like, so if my right hip is going up, my right foot does come up a little bit for that movement. And the same with the other side. If my left hip is going up, my left foot sort of picks up. That makes sense. Yeah, sorry, my heel. So it's less my foot, it's more my heel. Yeah, it's my heel. That's the best way to say it. How's everyone doing? Good, any questions? Yes, awesome, great. Okay, cool. So we're gonna actually get started with a little combo I have for you all. Since you're all doing so incredible, I think we'll actually be able to get through it very quickly. But if I'm going too fast at any point, please let me know. So the song is called, I'm gonna write it in the chat real quick. It's called Talk to Me by Amir Sophie. Same, sometimes, yeah, same, I feel that. So basically the song is gonna start and you're gonna hear 2 beats. And you're gonna be facing back to start. You're gonna hear those 2 beats drop. And when they do, your left arm is kind of gonna open up. Well, yeah, you're gonna open to the front. And immediately your left hip is gonna start dropping. So I didn't really teach this, but it's basically like those hip drops. When you're in this position and you're picking up your left hip, your right foot is planted completely and your left leg, like your toes are perched on your left foot. And you're sort of like using that perch to pick up your hip and bring it back down. Does that make sense? Are you doing good music? Yes, that is true, Jenny. But yeah, that move, you're basically opened like this and bringing up your left hip, bringing it back down. Great, okay, cool. So you're gonna do, you're gonna be facing back, 1, 2, you're gonna open up with your left arm to the front and you're gonna do, the counts are 1, 2, you're gonna open up 3, 4, and your hips are gonna go 5, 6, 7, 8. And then after that, you're gonna turn with your left foot. Your left foot's gonna wrap around your right foot. You're gonna turn to the right and you're gonna open up, right arm down, left arm up. And you're gonna do hip drops on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that make sense? I'm gonna try and play the music so we can maybe hear it with the music. Please let me know if the music is too loud or too low. So I'm gonna do it real quick. Can everyone hear that okay? Yes, okay, cool. So let me go back to the beginning. So we're facing the back and then we're gonna open up to our left. Turn to the right. Okay.
Amanda, can you do it with the counts?
Yes, sorry.
Please.
So it's a little fast. So when you turn, you're immediately gonna go to those right hip drops. So it's, you want me to do it with the counts with the music, Jenny?
Yes.
Okay,
Just to see like how fast the counts are.
got it. So this beginning part's a little quick, but if anything, if you guys are having trouble with it, I can always like slow it down, and that's fine with me. But you start to the back. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You turn. I don't know how to describe it. I'm really bad with counts. Jenny, could you help me out a little?
Okay, now that I get it, I can probably do it.
Okay.
Jenny, when you're doing the counts, I think it would be helpful if you like said the movement, like if you were like right hip 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
turn, like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So Jenny, do you want me to start with the music?
Yes, let's do it
Okay.
a couple more times.
Okay.
I couldn't hear the music clearly. It
No?
doesn't come in.
Dang. Okay, let me try again.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
That like dung 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 going dun 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 is when you're doing your right hip drops. So I don't know if you got counts from that, Jenny. But once you turn, it's basically like 1, 2, 3, 4. Dun, 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 dun. I don't really know how you would count that. But you're basically just dropping your hips to that like beat. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Okay,
Okay.
to the beat.
To the tune of the beat. Sorry.
Okay. It doesn't have to be with numbers. I just want to know what parts of the music it's on so everybody can get it with the
Yeah.
music.
If anyone has any questions about it, or if I'm not explaining it correctly, please feel free to comment. Like I'm very new at this teaching thing, so I'm getting the hang of it, sort of. Basically, right after those hip drops, you're gonna turn forward, and you're gonna do. Thanks, Liddy. I appreciate it. You're gonna do shimmies. So I actually didn't teach this. The shimmies are very simple. You're just sort of moving your knees like front and back. So I don't know how to describe this. Your right knee's gonna go front while your left foot is like still, and then you're just gonna switch it back and forth really fast, sort of, and you're gonna create this like shimmy effect with your hips. Jenny, you kind of did a good job at explaining it at our lessons, but oh, look at that, Sadie's got the hang of it.
Yeah, so okay, so you know how earlier we learned like the hip drops where you go like this? So it's the same thing now, except you're gonna do it really fast. So you're just gonna be dropping your knees really quickly and isolate that area, and then it looks like a shimmy. So just like we were doing before, so you kind of bend your knees, bend one knee to drop the hip, bend the other knee to drop the other hip, just like those piston hips, and then just do it really fast.
So the next part of our song.
Does that make sense?
That was great, Jenny.
Awesome.
Thank you. So yeah, you're just gonna do shimmies for I think it's 8 counts. Let me play the music real quick. So during that time, you're just gonna do shimmies, and then you're going to do those sways that I taught you. It's going to be 4 sways. Sways it's this hip movement. So these are Mayas, and these are sways. You're gonna do 4 sways with your arms going up, 3, 4, and then 4 Mayas going back down. So 1, 2, 3. Make sense? You can do the shimmies for 8 counts, and then 4 sways, and then 4 Mayas. Is that okay?
Okay. Let's try.
Yeah, let's try with the music. Okay. Shimmies?
Sway, 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 sway. Maya, 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 Maya. Oh, okay. So the arms come back down.
Yes.
Over.
So yeah. So your arms go up with those sways. 2, 3, 4, and then they come back down with the Mayas. 2, 3, 4. And this next part fun. This next part is fun. You're basically, once you come back down, you're going to do shoulder shimmies for 8 counts. So once you come back down with those Mayas, you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Uh-oh.
I think she got frozen.
Yeah. Amanda.
Well, break time, break time.
5, 6, 7,
Betty
8.
said her knees are mad at her, so take a break a little bit.
Yeah, maybe get
Hey,
some
there she is.
water.
So sorry, I froze.
Yeah,
my
you're
wife.
back.
My Wi-Fi here is not great. Yes, I'm gonna get some water too.
We like water.
We do. So yeah, I apologize if my internet is not great here. So I apologize if I go in and out. But yeah, it's 6 o'clock, so running a little short on time. So we might end like after a few of these moves, but you guys are doing so great so far. I honestly might teach this combo again at Monday's lesson. So if you all want to learn the rest of it and continue to practice this beginning part, this is what I'll be teaching. So after those 8 counts of shimmies and the Mayas and the sways, you're just gonna basically face the right, and your hands are gonna kind of like you picked up right here. It's very fun. And you're gonna do chest lifts, but we can practice the beginning part real quick. Do you guys want to run it with counts before I run it with music, or run it with music? Lesson on Monday is at 6 o'clock, and you can find more information about that on our Instagram. But yeah, should I just run it through with music real quick? Would that be okay? Thumbs up. Yes. Okay, cool. Just gonna play. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm just seeing the other cameras are turned on. There's so many like pages. And I'm just seeing Alexis and Callie. Oh my gosh, hi. Thank you all so much for doing this. Yeah, so let me just start again from the beginning with music. Do you all have any questions, Alexis or Callie? Or you guys are good? Cool, okay, cool. So we're just gonna run it again with music. Shimmy?
Shimmy. Maya, 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 Maya. Shoulder shimmy.
So at the end of those 8 counts, you're basically gonna come to the right and you're gonna pitch it like this. And this is the last part of the combo for now. But you're basically, once you're pitched up here, you're going to do chest up, down. You're gonna tuck your butt out, in. So chest up, down, out, in. And then the music's gonna pick up really quickly. So it's gonna be like up, down, out, in, up, down, out, in, up, down. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Does that make sense? You're gonna hear it with the music. It'll make a lot more sense with the music, I promise. We're gonna do that again. Are you kidding me? Everyone has the body for this. It's all about feeling confident in your own skin. That's really what the fun part about belly dance is. That's what we want to achieve at lessons. So even if you don't want to have your camera on or anything, it's still really fun to do on your own in front of your mirror. And I promise you, you'll start to feel so much more confident after you start belly dancing. It's such a great time. So let's try that with music. I promise you'll hear those up, down, out, in things that I'm talking about. So I'm gonna play the music real quick. Shimmies. Sways. Mayas. Shoulder shimmies. 4, 5, 6, 7, turn right. Up. Woo. I forgot something real quick in between that. Basically for that time, okay, that's the beat thing that I'm talking about. Right before that, you're going to do undulations. You're gonna do 4 undulations, and then that beat is gonna start. So you're gonna undulate 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's gonna go up, down, out, in, up, down, out, in, up, down. Whew, I don't know if that makes sense. Thank you, Katie.
Is everybody hearing the music okay? I know on mine it's kind of going in and out, but I don't know if it's just me.
I understand if it is. It's very hard to hear the music sometimes. If you're hearing it okay, I'll just keep going, but if not, drop a comment real quick so I can see. Doing okay? Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna play the music real quick to test it out, and you all can like thumbs up if
They said they can hear it.
yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is all a facade. The energy, you have to bring it on. You know, sometimes you're tired and you just gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, I'm gonna start over with the music real quick. So I'm gonna face the back. Turn. Shimmies. Sways. 2, 3, 4. Maya. 2, 3, 4. Shoulder shimmies. 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4. Up, down, out, in. Did you all hear that? Is that cool? Did it make sense? Yes.
So it's like up, down, out, in, up, down, out, in, up, down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you clap it, that might help.
Yeah, we can just run through that a few more times. And then again, I can go over this combo in the lessons. And pretty much after lessons, if you all want to record yourselves, post it on your Instagrams and we would repost you. So we can show the whole world how great at belly dancing you all got after one lesson. That'd be so much fun. So yeah, I can go ahead and post like our Instagram at the end of this, so you guys can just click it, see us, and follow it if you want. But yeah, we can just run through this a few more times, and then we're all gonna go into like breakout rooms. So awesome, thanks, Sadie. Yeah, let me start from the beginning, facing the back. Shimmies. Sway. Mayas. Shoulder shimmies. To the right. Undulate. 3, 4. Up, down, out, in, up, down, out, in, up, down. Woo. so much fun. I'm literally sweating. Yay, I'm so glad. If you all want, we can run it through one more time, and then it'll be 6:10. If you have any questions about any of the moves, like, don't be afraid to let me know. Sometimes I feel like I go through things too quickly. But yeah, we'll just do that one more time. Shimmies. Sways, 2, 3, 4. Maya, 2, 3, 4. Shoulder shimmy. To the right. Undulate, 2, 3, 4. Up, down, out, in. Oh my gosh. That was fun. Real quick, yeah, to answer Sadie's question, the difference between sways and mayas, you're basically creating, with a maya, you're creating a movement of it's like an infinity almost, but you're starting by picking up your hip and bringing it out. So this is a maya. Sways are pretty much the opposite. So you're sort of picking up your hip and bringing it back down. Picking up your hip, bringing it back down. So the infinity for mayas is kind of going up and then down. And then sways are like picking it up to bring it back down. That'll make a little more sense. Yeah, sways are pretty much like you're scooping up your hip.
Like a scoop. Wait, hold on.
Like an ice cream scoop.
Like a scoop, scoop, scoop. And the mayas are pushing out and over. So that's the difference, yeah.
I was asked to unmute. I don't know why.
No, I unmute Sadie, Alexis, and Callie just in case you have questions. Then you don't have to type back and forth.
Oh, okay. So like this would kind of be more like the Maya movement where you like.
Yes.
Okay, and then a sway would be more like that.
Yeah. Those
Okay.
are great mayas and great sways. Wow.
I am from the bottom
Yes.
down, like midway down. I'm not coordinated. I play piano. My hands are the only coordinated part of me.
Well, that was great. That was very professional, actually.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring my computer back over here.
That description actually was very helpful.
Thank you all so much for joining me and having your cameras on. And
Thank you. It was fun.